Hmm.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Norm, the Cheers podcast that isn't quite a podcast. I'm Mike. That's Dave. That's Tookie. We're here every week, Tuesday, 8:30, to celebrate the greatest sitcom in all of history. If you don't just focus on season two, Cheers. It's it's season two. I don't remember season two being quite this hit and miss.
I
It's a
thought
weird old season.
I thought season 2 was going to be like the high point. I thought 2 and 3 was like apex Cheers, and 2 is just all over the map.
No. One was excellent, a few dead spots. Three, I've been popping in on three just to make myself feel better about two. Three is gonna
That's
be
legit.
three's gonna be fun. Two, we got to get through two. All I can tell you is that this is just something we have to get through. It's a lot like when your kids are teething. You just look, it's not fun, but they need teeth. And the pain of season two is the teeth of season three. That's about all I've got for you.
You know, I saw someone posted photos of a baby born with teeth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't
Same.
like that.
Same.
Just
Same.
when you thought childbirth couldn't be worse.
Same.
Whew.
Well, don't get me started on Tooth and Eye Furby, you know?
Oh,
Tooth and Eye Furby? What?
Tooth and Eye well, yeah, because my Facebook targeted ads have evolved from me getting ads for long Furby to dysmorphic Furbies with frog bodies but Furby faces, and then Furbies with like a lot of eyes and teeth. It's been a week. It's been a long week.
Tookie, whatever you're doing to force the algorithm to suggest this to you. Like,
Yeah.
I worry, but also am impressed at the same time, and there's probably a German word for that, but I don't know it.
There probably is.
Yeah, you're searching for something that's bringing this up. Like, I hate to be a you're asking for it guy.
I promise you.
I
yes.
don't think this, like, I'm not getting any Furbies. Dave, are you getting Furbies?
No.
No. There's something in your Google
I don't
where
know.
it's like, were you at any point were you researching the island of Dr. Moreau?
No.
Okay.
No. I didn't even know what that was until 2006. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful mess that movie is. Woo! Look up, it's not worth watching, but if there are any viewers who don't know about it, look up, they wrote an article about the making of it. And it is the Hollywood disaster story of all time, how that movie got made. People fired, Marlon Brando being even a little more Marlon Brando than Marlon Brando thought he could be.
Wow.
Just really something else. It's Val Kilmer at his peak. Oh, perfect. Perfection.
You know, Marlon Brando's sister played Barbara in Mommy Dearest.
Had no idea.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, that's his sister.
Wow.
You know the scene where, she ends up slapping the daughter, but she's, Barbara, please. That one. Yeah, I'm obsessed with that movie right now.
Really?
Yeah. But that's Marlon Brando's sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Intriguing. The whole Brando family, very talented in weird ways. Which reminds me, catch the Superman 2, the Donner cut. You get a little more Brando that you weren't even aware you needed. But Donner cut really fixes, and I say this as someone who enjoyed Superman 2 quite a bit. Donner cut fixes some of the weird things of Superman 2 that made you go, I don't quite get what happened there. Fixes it. It's all there.
Is that the one? No, that's the third one where the Gene face head is like barely in it, right?
The Gene face head?
You know who I'm talking about?
Gene Hackman?
Gene Hackman, yeah.
Oh, he's not in it at all. He's not in episode 3. Gene face head?
I couldn't think of Gene Hackman.
This is why you're getting elongated Furbies. This is
like this is it's all becoming clear, isn't it? You're just searching this stuff. Like at some point you were researching something about furry animals and you were just like, Furbies. Do bees have hair? And it came up, yeah, weird Furby. There you go.
Yeah. It's what I deserve.
We get the internet we deserve.
Yeah. All right. But something none of us deserve today was a world without Charles Grodin. Yeah, that's a segue, baby.
All right.
I'm hosting the shit out of this bitch. Yeah, we lost a brilliant comedic soul today, Charles Grodin, 86. I did not think he was 86 years old. That's really something. He was just a brilliant guy. In addition to a very underrated talk show he had in the 90s, he was a magnificent Carson guest who was one of the only Carson guests, just YouTube Grodin Carson. And look at him. They had this weird dynamic where Grodin would come on and just act completely displeased with Johnny Carson in a way that nobody else ever pulled off. It was fabulous. The Great Muppet Caper, the underrated jewel of the Muppet crown, and one of my favorite movies. I'm not arguing that it's the greatest movie ever made, but in terms of this movie is on, if I catch part of it, I have to sit and watch all of it. Midnight Run. Midnight Run is just a perfect comedy. I love it so dearly. It is so well made. It is a murderer's row of casting. And somehow, amidst the greatness that is in this, the best part is Charles Grodin. Just so damn good. And we lost him today. And famously prickly guy. Like challenging, difficult to work with, but so talented he just kept working forever. Just an amazing guy. Do either of you have some Grodin thoughts or moments that you'd like to share?
I remember his with particular affection his talk show, which was what, CNBC or MSNBC in the late 90s, early 2000s. Just because. I mean, I maybe watched it 4 or 5 times, which puts me in, I think, company as one of the more loyal viewers. I mean, it was historically underviewed, and I remember seeing him get asked about it, and he could not care less. No. Like, he was just happy, just thrilled to be able to sort of create something. Just really seemed like an artist who kind of like lived life on his own terms. And yeah, his performances in Midnight Run and the Great Muppet Caper is I think the finest Muppet movie, and he's
so great.
He's the only human who's as funny or funnier than the Muppets in performance.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a big part of my childhood and young adulthood, and he will be missed.
And I think underrated human to swine chemistry with Miss Piggy.
Yep. But it's true. Like the template for the Muppets was always the humans really need to act like the stakes matter. And this is a world where all of this is happening. And I think more than anybody else, he nailed it. Like, you watch Muppet Christmas Carol, and Michael Caine, God bless him, said, I'm treating this as Shakespearean. And he did. And it's great. But it's not fun the way that Muppet Caper is. Somehow, Grodin nailed keeping the stakes high and still making it laugh out loud funny. It was real, but he was in on the joke. It was perfect.
His relationship with Miss Piggy in that movie is genuinely complex and fascinating.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the Batman Catwoman relationship in a comedy. And perfect. Perfect.
I hope somewhere that there's a single take of Charles Grodin whipping the head off of 3 mannequins in one shot.
I need that in my life. I really do. Also, I think he was in Beethoven about the big, huge Saint Bernard. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. He cashed some checks.
Yeah.
He did Beethoven. He did Taking Care of Business. With Jim Belushi. He did Clifford with Martin Short. One of the weirdest movies you've ever seen in your life, where Martin Short is playing a child, but not like in a body switching way. It's really like, all right, Martin Short, you're going to be 8 in this movie. I know you're 47, but you're going to be 8 in this movie. Really weird.
they can't make that in 2021 because someone's going to call out the ableism there.
Yeah, that might be a good rehash for you, though.
Might be.
Breaking out the Clifford.
Might be. Oh boy, he was. Yeah, that's one of those movies that's like that happened and we don't talk about it.
Yeah. Bizarre movie. Bizarre rewatch.
Yeah, he was in that sort of like late 90s cadre of actors where it seemed like studios thought like, I guess he's bankable. And then like all of a sudden they kind of realized, oh wait, no, it works better if he's in a good movie.
Yeah. I think what happened was just, he had to do some of those because he was so sort of challenging to work with. And so in a lot of the better movies, they had their choice. They didn't need Grodin. Even Midnight Run, like De Niro really had to go to bat for Grodin, as I've read, and say, no, this is the guy. This is the guy. I know you want Robin Williams. This is the guy. And they needed someone with De Niro's juice to push for him. Yeah. Yep.
Robert,
if you get a chance,
De Niro.
If you get a chance, eat some chorizo and eggs and watch Midnight Run. That movie is the reason I tried chorizo, and it's very good with eggs.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But I'm going to warn you, a pound of chorizo is more chorizo than you think it's going to be.
It is. That's an inordinate amount of chorizo already.
I didn't realize when I bought the chorizo.
Oh.
Like we were eating a lot of chorizo and eggs in the Dorval household. Because I also wasn't sure how long chorizo stayed good for.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's got a good life. It's got a good shelf life.
I guess. I don't know. We got through it. I know I did chorizo and eggs like 3 times. And then I said, I guess I'm going to have a chorizo sandwich.
Did you have your cholesterol checked after?
Cholesterol. It's just an indicator. It's fine.
All right.
It's really a suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't you worry about this guy's cholesterol. We're all good.
All right.
We're all good. All right. Something that is not all good. Season 2, episode 10. How Do I Love Thee? Let Me Call You Back. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. Which is apparently a love fest compared to the rest of the cast of Norm, the Cheers podcast that isn't. So we're going to break this puppy down as best we can. Dave, it was December 8th, 1983. What was happening in the world when the world encountered episode 10?
Mike, Tookie, December 8th, 1983, saw the return to Earth. STS-9 NASA mission, the space shuttle, landed at Edwards Air Force Base in California. It was, I believe, the third Columbia mission, if I remember correctly, and the first one to carry Spacelab into orbit. Which Space Lab then was used, I think, another 15 or 20 times over the course of the space shuttle program's life. Columbia, of course, met a tragic end in 2003. Soon afterwards, the shuttle program was permanently grounded under George W. Bush. But thinking back to 1983, I remember shuttle launches and landings being genuine events. And that was a pretty cool, there was a lot of terrible reasons to be young in 1983, 84, 85, 86. Primarily among them, the fear of being vaporized. But I remember genuinely feeling a sense of wonder and magic at the idea that there were spaceships, literal spaceships, taking off and landing with some regularity. And that, in what was perhaps a trying time to be an adolescent, I still hold the space shuttle with a lot of affection. So I just wanted to shout out the return to Earth of STS-9. If you get a chance, look up the patch, the insignia patch for this mission, because it is dope, and I would wear the hell out of a t-shirt with it if anybody's looking to get me something for Father's Day.
Very nice. All right, that's what's going on in the world. Tookie, tell us about this cold open. It's an important cold open for me.
Is it?
Harry the Hat's back.
Okay. All right.
My guy, Harry Anderson.
It did, but it's one of those cold opens that did but didn't have much to do with the remainder of the episode, where I think we'd been treated to continuity for the first few episodes of this season. In this one, it was one of those disjointed moments. But we have, it been seen in the bar where Coach and Sam are discussing about how they conspire to give a gift to Harry, which is a trick wallet that Sam wants to give to Harry to repay him for all the times that he has scammed the bar. And when you open said wallet, it bursts into flames. Which, where the hell do you get something like that?
Okay, ask me at the end of this cold open description.
Okay.
I got a fire wallet story for you.
Okay. I'm concerned, but okay. So enter Harry, and Sam says, "Hey, oh, Harry, I just want to give you a gift just to show you that there's no hard feelings and that we love you, Harry, and all that." And Harry is seemingly touched by this present, and as he opens it and inspects it and sees that it is a wallet, you can't get much over on Harry. He goes to give Sam a hug and pulls an oh so subtle sleight of hand, a little trickaroo, hugs him, comes back with the wallet, and Coach and Diane are saying, oh, open it up and open it. But of course, Diane says, a little further from your face. And Harry opens up the wallet. No flames. If anything, there's money in there. He's like, oh man, there must be $60 in here. Thanks, guys. This is so great. Means a lot. And he absconds with the funds. And Sam is like, wait a minute, that wallet looked familiar. And he inspects his own coat, pulls out what seemed to be his own wallet, opened it, flames. Cue the music.
Nice. All right. Lots going on here for me personally. One, love having Harry Anderson there. I thought he played his part perfectly. There's so many nice little touches. One of my favorite touches is when he goes to wipe the tear from his eye and there are no lenses in his glasses. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
I did not catch that until the second viewing. It was perfect. It was great. I really loved that happened. I loved him working over the crew there at Cheers. I loved that they were trying to get him. And so you felt fine about him getting $50 off of Sam because they were trying to pull a prank on him. It was great. And fire wallets. Okay, there is a comedian who used to be a Boston comic from Boston named Tom Dustin, who I enjoy very much. Yes. If you know Tom Dustin, he hasn't lived here full time in a long time. Lives down in Key West now with James Patterson. They are down there just running the comedy world of Key West. For years, as Tom was on the road, he used to go from like Funny Bone to Funny Bone. And at the end of the show, so he would go around and feature at all of these places on the road, which is, if you don't know, in stand-up comedy terms, a 3-person show, the feature goes on second, does the second most time, and then the headliner comes out. So he used to sell, most of the time people talk about selling their merch. There's just merchandise. They're selling, most of the time it's CDs back in the days when they were CDs and T-shirts. And now it's, they sell like autograph cards where you download. But they sell T-shirts. They sell things in the back. He sold fire wallets. That was his merch. So wallet had a little lighter inside. You would light it. It didn't just light on fire as soon as you opened it. You had to turn on the wallet, but you would open it, hit the lighter, and fire. And that was like also 5 to 10 minutes of his act was explaining that afterwards, and he'd said it in his thick Boston accent. So after the show, I'm going to be selling fire wallets. If you want to see, it's a wallet that catches on fire. Here's how it works. You open it up, you light it, it's fire. It's a fire wallet. A lot of comics will sell you their jokes afterwards, but you just heard my jokes. So now you can go home with a fire wallet. And he would make more money off of selling fire wallets after the show than he got paid for doing the show. He would sell more fire wallets than the headliner would sell T-shirts or CDs. He would have to keep ordering more fire wallets.
But
yeah.
How does one procure like?
I think at some point they became hard to get. Like his supply ran out.
Okay.
But for a nice stretch there, Tommy D making money off of fire wallets.
There's definitely a point where somebody, the supplier of the fire wallet, is sued, and that's gonna tighten up the supply chain.
Yeah.
Because I know where to get a long Furby. I don't want to know, but I know where to get a long Furby. Well, how does
You
one
do.
just...
And I guarantee you, he Googled fire wallets, and that much in the same way that you Googled something that brought you to Furbies, he searched for something. I don't know the actual etymology of it, but at some point he got a fire wallet and started selling them, and he made money. So fire wallets, a real thing.
You can order a fire wallet from Walmart for $14.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Nice. But yeah, you sell it for $25 after the show. $10. Yeah, look at that. Look at that profit. Beautiful. I guarantee you, it's more than comics were making selling their CDs. And by the way, if anyone would like a hand autographed copy of Mike Dorval, We Need to Talk, I think I still have 2.
That's pretty good. If you're down to, if you're down to almost zero inventory, that's pretty solid.
It's a collector's item. Someone told me they found one on Amazon. So someone is willing to part with their Mike Dorval, We Need to Talk CD on Amazon. So very special. I'm trying to think if there's anything that'll get me in trouble on that CD.
Well,
it was 05.
Oh, really? That's not that long ago.
Yeah. Good times.
If anyone out there wants a long Furby, I'm your hookup.
All right. See, that's merch that you can sell when you're doing the hideout this weekend. If you're looking for merch, you can buy an autographed Furby from Tookie Kavanaugh. Beautiful. All right. We're trying to avoid season 2, episode 10 so hard. All right. Let's break it down. It's basically just an A story this week after the cold open. In it, the one thing that does make me happy, Marvin Hagler is an important part of this storyline. Diane is buying some tickets off of these guys at the beginning of the show for a Hagler fight, which is in Boston. I respected that was accurate. Hagler fought in Boston all the time in '83. That would have been totally appropriate. She bought it for $200 from these 2 doctors. And yeah, one of the doctors talks about removing something from Diane's face, which was uncomfortable. I can remove that in about 30 minutes. Yeah, weird. Though I guess maybe a doctor would do that. It's a profession that lends itself to it. I thought it was kind of very 80s that apparently, I sense that caring vibe the moment that you were in there. I don't feel like anyone would be shocked that a doctor was acting in a mercenary fashion at any point in like the 21st century. Anyway, although I know, don't email me that, there's helping us with COVID. All right, fine. But you know what? The medical profession overall, and I respect everything that they're doing with COVID, medical profession overall, we are short on general practitioners because everyone wants to do a specialty that makes them a fortune because our healthcare system is totally screwed up. Anyway, we enter into this. She gives Sam the tickets. He's thrilled. Everyone is hugely impressed. He's going to put on a jacket and tie, which is apparently a thing that you did to go to a boxing match in the 80s. And he says, I love you. And she's overwhelmed by that. They have a scene in the office that I find wildly uncomfortable to watch, where they get into a fight. Their fights make me really, really uncomfortable. Like they always get nastier than they need to. I didn't remember how nasty Sam and Diane fights were. I got that I saw Hepburn and Tracy. They were never this unpleasant to each other. Like they sparred, but good Lord. Anyway, they have a very uncomfortable argument because Sam explains that that's just something that he says to women, and she doesn't like that. And then he goes off to the fights with Harry, who won the drawing of the cutting the high card, which, you know what? I don't even feel bad for the rest of the people in Cheers. You're cutting high cards with Harry? You know you're going to lose. What are you doing? Okay, so they go to the fight. Then he goes over to Diane's apartment, which I still insist is one of the nicest Boston apartments you're ever going to find. Even in '83, I think that was beyond Diane's means.
Question.
Yes.
Normally, the vibes in that apartment are fine.
Mhm.
But this week, all the candles.
Yeah.
Illuminati vibes or no?
I think that Diane would have been Illuminati.
Mm.
But right now, I think she was just trying to set a mood of sadness. I feel like she just has to embrace this. Was anyone else surprised that Diane was singing a Dylan song?
That was a funny choice and a weird,
Right?
like, and not like that's not a song about heartbreak. Like,
Yeah.
it's a kind of it's a song I've always kind of read as like pretty on some level misogynistic, you know, whether I mean whether it's about a specific, it's definitely not about like a relationship that seems to be on the rocks.
Mm.
It was a weird choice, and was something actually I really liked about the episode, because I felt sure that had to be Shelley Long just like picking a song and singing it, and that was probably the one that came to mind. And I bet
Yeah.
there's a gag reel of her trying like 5 different ones somewhere.
I guess I felt like that was probably a writer. I felt like Shelley Long
Yeah.
understood Diane enough to be like, that's not what Diane would be singing right now. I feel like Diane would have been trying to play the violin. I don't know. It just felt a little bit weird. Anyway, Sam shows up. She's drunk. They have a fight. She quotes Churchill, gets an applause break for it. I don't know if everyone in the audience realized that she was doing an old Winston Churchill joke. So the quote, you're drunk, you're stupid, tomorrow morning I'll be sober, is a famous quote that may or may not have actually been said by Winston Churchill. They get into a fight about why they are together, and he thinks she wants to break up. That was the other thing. Like, why are we together? Felt like a very odd place for them to get to from the I love you. It felt like just kind of an artificial machination to get to the week apart. I don't know. It felt like they worked backwards and said, all right, we want them to have a week apart and then have a, existential crisis about why they're together. And let's figure out a reason for that to happen. But it didn't feel like a certain really well-earned reason for that to happen. I didn't understand why she got to that place, even when she was drunk.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that's my sort of like central problem with the episode was like, I never felt like the logic added up. And, like comparing this with like last week's episode, which was like a really slight episode that I really, really liked.
Yep.
And that I'm, it doesn't hold a lot of water in terms of like the storytelling, but it was a delightful kind of a charming little kind of day in the life of Cheers, that where everybody kind of behaves according to an established set of logical reasons. And this one, I could never figure out why they were doing the things they were doing. Like, why would Sam suggest breaking up for a week to think about articulating their relation? Like, there was no human behavior.
Yeah. And I get, okay, it felt like people in relationship take breaks sometimes, but you know what? What always inspires that is, I don't know, we're unhappy together. I think we might be breaking up. Look, maybe we need some time apart. And you know what? They always break up. I did that once. We broke up. Like, everybody breaks up when you take the break. It's just right there. So it felt like this is something that other people in the writer's room had experienced. We take a break and then you have this conversation afterwards. But it's the runway to get there made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was frustrating. They take the week off. The next scene, they're all coming into Cheers, which is apparently locked and out of, not open for business at 11:30 at night, which made no sense from a logic point of view, and I couldn't get past it.
Was it a Sunday, maybe?
No, and you're not open on Monday at 11:30? When was that ever explained? Like, did we ever hear, oh yeah, and there's one night a week where Cheers isn't open? Because I remember like Coach saying, I take Thursday's my day off. You work on Thursdays. Yeah, but I go slower.
Yeah.
Like, which is, so it's implied that he works every day. If the bar was closed on Mondays, we would have known that.
Yeah.
How are you coming in? Because it's not midnight yet. It's after midnight when Diane comes in. What's going on? Are we led to believe that it's actually like 3 a.m? Because who was running the bar if they were all at the strip club? So the bar had to be closed.
Right. Question though, was this was 83, right?
Yes.
But was this prior to or sometime before Massachusetts kind of amended its blue laws?
Mhm.
You know how like you couldn't buy liquor on a Sunday,
Mhm.
not just in Belmont,
Right.
but you know it. So I'm wondering, like, was this some sort of allusion to the very Puritan culture we have here?
Great point. To my understanding, that rule, you could not go out to the packy or the supermarket and buy booze, but bars were open.
Okay.
And if they weren't open, then the combat zone wasn't open.
Yeah.
They weren't going to the strip club.
Maybe it's
I
a
mean,
Jewish
if
strip
Cheers had
club.
to be closed, I promise you the combat zone was not running. So I just feel like, it just didn't make logical sense and it bothered me.
Is there a combat zone in Brookline?
No, believe me, no one was having fun in Brookline.
No
one was going
there's
to
a
party in
market.
Brookline.
There's a market for some Orthodox Jewish script clubs. I say this as a half of the tribe member.
Yeah.
What's under the shtetl?
I'm not saying that they weren't going. I'm saying that they weren't hosting.
Dave, I'm so sorry. I've disgraced our people.
Nothing we haven't done already.
So, yeah, they get back there. By the way, big moment for Alan being a part of the group. It kind of inexplicably. I feel like they always just kind of throw in somebody else to see if they're going to catch some Cliff Lightning in a bottle, and it never quite happens.
They can't
So
put this guy in a
Alan's there.
red shirt fast enough.
Yeah. They're coming back from the strip club. They're playing poker with the nudie girl cards. He's talking about, Sam is talking about what a great time he's had being off from Diane this week. Diane pops in. He thinks he's going to come up with something at the last minute because he was a relief pitcher. He was Mayday, which led to one of my favorite jokes. In a joke light week, I really loved when they started chanting Mayday when she came in. That made me laugh. Diane and Sam go into the bar. She's shocked that he's having a get together. He says it's to celebrate him figuring out their relationship. He goes into the office. She follows him in. He says, "Oh, you go first." She gives a bullshit answer about what her view of the relationship is. He says ditto, which also made me laugh. The delivery of ditto made me laugh quite hard. I like that. That was also in the running for my joke of the week. They start having another fight about, I don't know how we're together. I don't know why we're together. And then he can't say I love you. That touches her because now it really means something to say I love you with her. And somehow that's the resolution of this week's episode, that he can't say I love you, and that makes her happy. Scene. Weird old week. There are things I like in it, but weird week of Cheers.
Yeah, I think you're totally spot on with regards to the jokes. There's like hardly any jokes in this episode.
Yeah.
To the point where I was like, maybe I'm missing references. Like the when the doctors were scalping the tickets, I thought maybe this is some sort of like 1980s commentary that I'm missing the context for. Mm-hmm. But like it was really, the jokes were really thin this week.
Mm-hmm. Carla had a couple. But yeah, there weren't a lot of choices here. I think we're going to be stepping on each other's preferable jokes here this week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just kind of light. It's whenever they have relationship heavy episodes with Sam and Diane, they drop like a stone. And it's for whatever reason, they take the bitterness, that tete-a-tete relationship, and they make it nasty. They get so nasty with each other, it's not fun. I don't know. Maybe I'm viewing it through a 21st century lens, but they get together, and I'm like, I don't understand why the two of you are together at all. And it's not the chemistry they had season 1. Like, they banter. Season 2, they really try to hurt each other's feelings. Like, they're just mean to each other.
The nicest or sort of most enjoyable, I think, moments that they have are, I on second viewing, I found myself enjoying the Diane's apartment beats.
Yeah.
because they are being sort of sweet to each other, and
Yeah.
As much as I don't understand why, like at least the decision to like that Sam weirdly comes to say like let's take a break and I'll think about it is like a little bit indicative of like, all right, I'm gonna try to be what you need me to be, I guess. But like but that just still doesn't seem like human behavior. Like I've never, maybe I haven't been in enough relationships, but I've never had a relationship that suffered because we couldn't articulate what the relationship was supposed to be to ourselves. I didn't understand what they were really trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
agreed.
I just couldn't quite figure it out. And it didn't feel true to Diane. As much as she overanalyzes things, it felt like poor analyzing. And as much as it was like, oh, it was so nice to hear I love you, I don't know that she would have gone there from there. Am I wrong?
Yeah, something, I don't know. Earl Pomerantz just didn't capture the vibes this
No.
week.
Yeah, is this the first Earl Pomerantz episode?
I think
No.
it's the second.
Second.
We've had
Yeah.
we've had one or two.
Yeah.
Do we know?
I don't
Dave,
know
can
what-
you research that?
Yeah. I know we've had at least one other one, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. We've done that name before.
And he's let us down before. What's going on, Earl?
Come on.
Maybe he didn't let us down before. Maybe he came through. Maybe Earl Pomerantz came through. He's the dad of Drew Pomerantz, the closer for the San Diego Padres.
No.
Former Red Sox great. Earl Pomerantz wrote Manager Coach this past season, so just a couple episodes ago.
We enjoyed Manager Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. We enjoyed Manager Coach.
What happened?
It's a weird thing.
There's like a nugget of something interesting.
Yeah.
Like, where there's this idea like, you know, where two people, one who lives life under constant reflection and one who lives a completely unreflective life, like where they have to find some sort of commonality.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And that's kind of like percolating under the surface, but like, I don't feel like there's ever a moment where they really kind of like where they really dig into that enough to justify the lack of humor in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a very special episode where nothing special happens.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. That kind of hurt.
It hurt to say. Didn't make me feel good. But it's kind of how I feel.
And the stakes were low again. Like,
Yeah.
At least with Fred Dreyer, like they were on the verge of really breaking up. In this one, I know they're taking a break, but I didn't think they were actually. This didn't feel like it was going to be the end of the relationship. It just felt kind of like just another sort of chapter. I guess almost at the end, like they kind of come close. Like Shelley Long's upset. Ted Danson has to kind of like work a little bit, but even so, like it just didn't feel particularly hard.
Yeah. All right, a few questions for you. I did like also Diane's line. I was voted most likely to marry into old money. I don't know why. I enjoyed that, and that felt real.
Yeah.
Okay. She's getting a week off. They're taking a week off from the relationship. Does that mean she gets a vacation?
Yeah, she's been at Cape Cod.
Is the whole bar closed?
This is madness. This is not a way to run a business.
No, it's so weird.
There's no PPP loans for, estrangement from your partner.
Yeah.
It's not how that works.
Yeah. It's very strange. And her just saying a week would be nice. It's like, oh, she wants a week off from Sam. Like that was a line that struck me the second time. A week would be nice. Like, oh, all right then.
I mean, I want a week off from Sam sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sam was very Sylvester Stallone this episode. I don't know if it was the boxing glove or what, but like he was like especially meaty this episode. I didn't like it.
All right. On her side, Sam. Oh, what did that mean? On her side, Sam. I don't know. I'll try to figure that out. Have you ever heard breasts called Wallies before?
That was one of my 80s because there were a couple for me. That was one
That
of
wasn't 80s. We were alive in the 80s. I never heard that before.
okay.
No,
Okay.
no idea. I've never, ever heard the term Wallies.
Okay. That makes me feel a little better then. Because I'm
Nope.
like, maybe that's another, like, the reach out and touch someone.
Yeah.
I
No.
was like, well, maybe this is one of those moments where
Right.
perhaps this was before my time.
Yeah. No.
I had a British Latin teacher, and who was also our soccer coach, and he would call us Wallies if we were not executing soccer things. So I don't maybe it's got some sort of kinship with like you're being a boob. I don't know, but I don't recall there ever being any sort of like breast reference that Ray Collins gave to us.
And if that was a British term that was happening around the tea rooms of London, would Sam really be the one using it?
That's a Diane term. If that's, if you're having lady fingers and
it does seem like that would be more a Diane term.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in the ladies' locker room and I had to see everyone's Wallies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just put them away. Yeah. Put them in the boot. So I don't know. Just a weird mishmash of an episode of Cheers this week. It was a weird, strange episode. Where would you rate this week's episode? Let's start there because I feel like that just needs to be tackled early on.
It didn't like make me. I just didn't enjoy it. I don't actively hate it. It doesn't. I found it frustrating, which is maybe like a first. Like I haven't been genuinely kind of like frustrated by an episode. It maybe really in either season so far. I was just like, it was just. I wasn't angry. I was just like kind of annoyed by it.
Yeah.
What do we got for the total this season? 22, 24 episode run?
I think there's an extra half hour because the season finale was an hour.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah,
if I'm correct.
So this is of 20...
22.
22.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we've got 22 with like 5 really good episodes, 5 really open ass episodes. This is in the middle of the middle. This is somewhere in the middle, the lower middle of the middle of the 11, where it's kind of
I don't know. For me, it's right near the bottom.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it, but yeah, and the more we talk about it, the less I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm really like, I'll be happy to watch The Spy Who Came In From Out of the Cold like 100 more times in my life. Like, because that episode, that one was interesting. It's a little weird. It's got a cool, interesting guest star.
There's jokes.
There's jokes. There's like, I don't ever really. I'm happy if I go to my grave not seeing this one again. So this is low.
I didn't actively hate it, but it's not. I'm not gonna remember it, and that's why it's sort of in the bottom of the middle for me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Sam Creepy Quotient. Where are we this week?
Oy.
Yeah. So it brings it to this big question of, all right, he just throws around the term "I love you" all the time. I don't feel like that even goes along with Sam that much. I feel like he's going to be cautious about not using that phrase around women because he doesn't want them to get hung up on him because he wants to leave. Like, that didn't feel very true to the character.
Yeah, it would.
Sam's not going to tell all these women he loves them.
No. See, that's the thing. Like, it would have been at like a 6 this episode, but that conversation in the office with Diane where he just keeps putting one foot and then another foot and then removing a foot, but then putting another foot back in to his mouth. And that's why he's at a 12.5. This was creepy.
Yeah.
It was creepy, and we got some insights that we didn't need. I could have, I could have gone my whole life without some of those insights about lines. Oh, you're not a girl, you use lines. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Huh? That's interesting. I was not quite that high. And I think part of it's just because I know I need to leave room for later episodes. I was at a 7.3 this week.
I respect that.
Yeah. I thought I just, and part of it was just because it didn't feel real. That was part of what kept it from going higher. I was like, I don't buy this. I don't believe that he said this all the time. I don't know. It didn't feel that accurate to me. Like, it almost felt like it would have been truer if he said that and then felt weird about it because he felt it, but didn't actually want to say that yet. That would have felt like a more real through line for this episode. Yeah, just that whole idea of, oh, is this what you say to women? No. That's not what Sam Malone says to women all the time. Come on.
And that's not what happens in the moment. Like, he genuinely is feeling affectionate because somebody gave him something that he wanted. And
someone special to him.
Yeah. And that's like a more interesting, like to at that point have to sort of backtrack and say, oh gosh, I was really moved.
Yep.
I don't know if I can say that to you in the romantic way because I'm saying it to you in this way that I was like, you actually touched me.
Yeah.
And I feel like Diane would have seen that. She would have seen that he was really feeling something.
Yeah.
And then afterwards wasn't ready to deal with what that meant. It went in a whole weird way. I
felt like and not to go away from the creepy quotient, but like I felt like there was a Marvin Hagler shaped hole in this episode. Like there needed to be a Marvin Hagler guest shot where he came into the bar and like told Sam to start to hold on to something that meant something to him. Yeah. I really wanted Marvin Hagler to act in this episode, and he never showed up.
Yeah. If you can get Tip O'Neill, you can get Marvin Hagler.
Yeah, I wish Marvin had made an appearance. One more thought about the I love you, because I have a buddy who shall remain nameless, who is kind of famous for just saying I love you way too early. Like the first night. Okay. Like he just throws it out there and then he's like, I'm just gonna throw it out there and see how they react, and then I'll deal with the ramifications later. And it's not like, oh, because this is gonna get me laid. It's, you know what? I just deal better when I'm in a serious place with this woman early, and I don't want to deal with the light stuff because I don't deal with it well. So let's just say I love you right away, and then we'll deal with the seriousness of it. And that's more of a real weirdness from a guy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating.
He's an interesting dude.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy. Yeah. But yeah, he's just kind of known for that. I'm like,
does he
how
have
early
access
did you say
to
I love
therapy?
you? He's like, oh, the first night. Just get it out of the way.
No, does he have access to therapy? Like, is he even? Like, is he? Okay.
We'll talk. All right. Your favorite 80s moment of the week.
Oh my. I had a couple. Until we dissected the mystery of Wally's that was on the list. Because I'm like, is this?
No.
Okay.
No.
Mention of the combat zone again was, of course, very 80s to me. Ditto in earnest. I had never heard anyone use ditto in earnest in this day and age. So
Ghost.
Hearing that
was that big plot point in Ghost, which was 1990.
Yeah. So hearing that, I was like, oh. But what stood out the most to me were two things in the same scenes, which is scratch off stripper cards and Cliff's jacket. That jacket that Cliff was wearing was very of a time. So those two are like because there were a couple moments peppered in, not super strong, but stuff that I noticed that I was like, I wasn't around for this. So this must be something that plants this very firmly in its time. But that jacket is what sealed the deal for sure.
That jacket
very 80s. Dave, your 80s moment of the week?
Yeah, I also, the combat zone mention, Sam's creased jeans, I thought was a particularly
Oh.
80s look. But yeah, I'll get on board with Tookies too, with the scratch off playing cards, just sort of like widen that to the idea of like things that are things that are secretly carrying pornography. And Mike, I've told you the story about my grandfather's tie, which I wore. This was in the 80s. This was a tie that I wore to his funeral that I got from his closet, and then I looked down halfway through the service and realized that there was a naked lady silkscreen on the inside of the tie. I feel like there's very little chance these days to encounter something, that is going to surprise me with nudity, sartorially, or like, it's not if it's not on a screen, it's probably not going to have a naked person, because why would it? Yeah. So I'll go with the naked lady playing cards.
That is a very 20th century thing, that idea, and very 80s, and I'm on board with it. But just that whatever you liked sexually, someone else had to know you liked it, because you had to go and buy it from them, or you had to hire them to like pose or what. Like there was no way to do something now, which is like, all right, I'm doing incognito browsing and I'm typing in specifically what I want to find, and there it is for free. Like, you didn't truly have a secret.
Longfurby.com, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Guilty.
All right. My 80s moment was that idea of, I'm going to the fights, I need to put on my sport coat and tie. I need to put on my sport coat and my tie to go and watch men punch each other. Like, that was very much I think the end of the era of guys doing that, because you go back, that's one of my favorite things about old movies and old TV shows, was just everybody at the ball game or at the fights or at the wrestling matches in a tie with their hat on. That was just something that you did. And I feel like this was the end of that era. And Sam was one of the last guys who would do that. Like, Woody would not, but the other guys in the bar would. And that was the very tail end of that. Yeah. When you put on your sport coat and your tie to go out to the fights. All right. Tookie, how white was this episode?
It was real white. I went back and tried to count, but to no avail. Like, I looked at some of the corner patrons at one point, and I'm like, is this person in shadow? I can't, for as often as I've been asked, where are you from? Massachusetts, Yeah.
I think in the cold open.
Yeah.
I believe by the jukebox.
Yeah.
Were some people of color.
Yes. But that also was a question of like, but are they in shadow or are they?
Fair.
I gotta go back back one more time and watch just the cold open.
Yeah, it was a white episode.
Yeah.
Blindingly
white episode.
The person, the most highly regarded person of color in this episode, is never seen, and
is never seen. Yeah,
Marvelous Marvin.
Yeah, he gets his flowers, but we don't see him.
No. Your joke of the week,
Dave. You want to go first?
Yeah, I can. I'll. You know what? This is such a joke light episode, but I'll award it. And this was a moment I did like very much. I thought they did a good job setting it up. It's not even really. It's not even really a line, but it's Carla's entrance when they're talking about their leader at the strip club, and Carla walks in and the crowd applauds. Like, I thought that was kind of a fun moment, and that was a moment of like, yes, this is actually understanding who Carla is. Of course, like, she would kind of like shepherd everybody through the evening at the in the combat zone. And then I loved her line, where they ask her like, well, how do you know so much about the combat zone? And she says, oh, my ex used to take me there all the time. He loved the theater. Great. I loved it.
Yeah.
Tookie, your joke of the week.
It had to be. I think this was one of those. I thought we'd do better by season 2 because some episodes in season 1 were a lot of no jokes, just vibes. But this was running on vapors of jokes this episode. But I think I most enjoyed the exchange between Norm and Sam, where Norm is saying, "Oh, women go soft when you say you love them. It's not the same as when you say it to a man." And Sam goes, "Norm, I love you,"
Mhm.
and Norm says, "I was wrong."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Good joke.
yeah.
Yeah. Mine was the aforementioned Mayday. Mayday.
Mhm.
I like the timing. I like the subtle delivery. I liked that a lot. I like that the setup had been there for it. You didn't know it was coming. And then it just kind of came out of there. I liked that very much. I liked the baseball part of it. It made it work for me. I enjoyed it. All right. We're
No
going to put,
coach stuff this week. Like such a light coach episode.
yeah, Coach didn't have much to do.
No.
Coach did not have much to do this week. And that's another thing that makes me sad. Like on Coach Light episodes, I feel like it's because Nick Colasanto wasn't feeling well.
Mm.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy when everybody was kind of like angling for the spare ticket, and the camera panned to Nick Colasanto, and he smiles in the same way that everybody else smiles, but somehow it's different because everything that Coach does is a little bit weird and almost not human. And
Yeah.
I kind of it was kind of a wonderful, not necessarily funny moment, but just kind of a charming moment. I was like, oh, this is how people smile.
It was nice. It was nice. Oh, it makes me worry about Coach just running the bar when Sam's
Oh.
not there.
Yeah, maybe it's better that they close it.
Yeah. All right. All right. How do I love thee? Let me call you back. Let's put it in the books. That one's done. We don't need to revisit it. We've done our job. We've done our responsibility. You have been thoroughly examined, season 2, episode 10, and we are voting you off of Peacock. All right. And how was your week? Anything to plug? Anything going on?
I have nothing.
All right.
I'm inert.
Tookie's always busy. Dave and I are doing nothing.
I'm at Hideout in Faneuil Hall Thursday
At
through
the White Horse
Saturday.
Tavern.
Yes.
Friday and Saturday? Friday and Saturday or one of the days?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So they do 3 days a week now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I am there if you'd like to tell me I'm problematic to my face.
Go. She's very funny. Go pay to see her perform. She's giving you all of this for free. Buy some tickets. Go to the shows.
Help
Buy
fund
her
my
file wallet.
Buy a file wallet.
yeah, file wallet. Just help fund my very questionable lifestyle.
File wallet. Tom has some very inappropriate jokes that really make me giggle like a moron. I laugh every time I see Tom.
Oh,
I miss Tom. I wish he was not in Key West. It is fun. It is fun. All right, let's put this baby in the books. For Dave, for Tookie, I am Mike. Everybody, stay safe this week. Go watch Midnight Run. That is available, I believe, on HBO Max if you have it. Let me see. The Great Muppet Caper, The Great Charles Grodin is on Disney Plus. Heaven Can Wait is a fun little underrated movie. He is a supporting actor in it, but it is an interesting rewatch that stars Warren Beatty, and Charles Grodin is the bad guy in it, but a very funny bad guy. So there you go.
Oh, remember?
Yeah.
Doesn't he show up in Dave as Kevin
Yes.
Kline's friend accountant? And he is delightful because he's just playing Charles Grodin. He's cranky and annoyed through the whole thing, and he's fabulous.
He's exhausted in Dave. It's perfect. Exhausted.
and avoid Stewart.
No, Clifford.
Clifford, yes.
Clifford.
Oh, Stewart's the Mad TV character. Yeah, avoid Clifford.
No, watch Clifford just for something really, really bizarre. Don't watch Beethoven. Beethoven's great for the kids. If you have kids, watch Beethoven.
Beethoven, but not Beethoven 2.
Beethoven 2nd.
Oh, pardon.
Yes.
Pardon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not want the correct title?
No, I do.
Am I wrong there?
No. I just didn't know that you were,
Yeah, watch Star Wars and Empire Strikes Again.
Okay.
And then you can watch when the Jedi comes back.
I'm just saying they didn't give me a third with Beethoven's Eroica.
I would watch the hell out of that. All right. As you search for Beethoven's Eroica, I am Mike. That's Tookie. That's Dave. We're going to see you next week with a nice comeback episode. Stay safe, everybody. Have a good week. Bye.